Yeah, that's what's his name? Robert something Grant.
Robert Grant, right? Okay, yeah, I think that they all have little.
He's been doing like every day, not class, I mean, kind of classes on sacred geometry. It's been cool. He's been drawing, and he'd be like, so he's almost like the Bob Ross of like sacred geometry. He's like,
that's
so
hilarious.
you start here, and then you can connect a line there if you want. And then I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, why is yours not going to look like mine? I don't know.
I need to do that. I need to start doodling that kind of stuff. That would be cool. Oh, yeah. What did you think of my little alien lady?
Oh, yeah. That's what I had that on my list to ask you before we go. Yeah, that's weird, right? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. What did I think of her? I thought that I asked you everything. What did you think of her?
I don't know. I was just kind of like, who are you? And she just like looked at me like I got to see her face for like 10 seconds, just like boom there. And I was like, huh, I'm
Maybe
gonna
you're
remember
her.
to draw you.
Maybe you're her. Maybe she's you.
I thought there could be a relation in somehow. I don't know. But yeah, I that thought did occur to me. I was like, maybe that's one of my incarnations or something.
Right.
Or
well, the other class that I'm taking, he talks about, and I don't fully first of all, this is very complex information, and it's in Spanish, so it's really kind of hard because like I'll get it in the
I liked it, by the way. I liked the stuff that he was sharing on that one thing that I read,
good.
But his English isn't amazing, but
no.
I still like him.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I was like, maybe I can be his English coach. So I was thinking when I was listening to his thing on Gaia, because I was like, oh, at least I can help them there. I was actually like kind of taking notes in my head about that. It was distracting, but he is really good. Like the information that he gives is really good, and so he's going to do the meditation tomorrow morning. But oh no, he was saying like, okay, so there's this clock. Okay, so there's the clock, and there's like 24 hours in the clock, and somehow like all these, I don't know if it's all these lives. My understanding was that somehow we each like we have this what I thought was like a soul group, and right. and so we have these groups, although he didn't say soul group, but that was my interpretation of that. Like that's what I felt, although I'm sure he would have said soul group if that's what he meant. But anyway, it was like everyone has to have, like within that group, 144 experiences. It doesn't have to only be in this.
Oh, that's what the 144 is about then.
Yeah, that was the number came in, and he had other numbers around 12 and 24 and like hours on the clock, but
I don't understand.
Years in time.
Okay. So like that's how many times you're reincarnated is 144 times?
No, not necessarily. It sounds like what happens is you're in this group and everyone has to have an experience at all these different chakra levels, maybe, and so, based on the chakras, I understood. And then, like, if you have your experiences, whatever your path is, you have that experience, but your feedback is going into this group. And so once we all get to that, like a certain, like once we've gone through all of our experiences, and all of these like repetitions of, let's say you want to experience forgiveness, then until you've actually completely experienced it as an individual, like that's your experience and you've added it to the group. But you as a different soul or different entity would be wanting to experience, let's say, like love. And you would, after you have like a completion of that experience and you've evolved through it, then that experience, like I don't actually have to go through that experience because you're able to transmit that experience. So even though it says like you're, like you have to reincarnate and learn all these things, which is true, but when you're with your group, there's like this network, and that's the whole connection.
Okay, so you're sharing your experiences. You're
sharing your experiences, and that's more or less like how.
Well, that's in the broader sense of the term, like that's what I do sort of feel like all is one, or like all of us are. I do kind of feel like we are all giving a feedback loop to the source.
Exactly. Right.
And, like, there is some sort of giant life review that belongs to the collective in some kind
yes.
of
Yeah. I wish this stuff was English.
I've really started to try my darndest to start really being conscious of my thoughts, because I do think that those are forms that we create that live in eternity. And
yes,
like when you just unconsciously put a bunch of shit out there, like that's not cool. Like
right, it's out there. Beware of it.
Out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to phone to my thoughts all the time.
Right. It is important to be aware of your thoughts. I agree with that. But I also think and to be aware of your feelings too. So if I feel agitated or something, or I kept like replaying something, like, why is it that I went out for like one time during the day? Like, I haven't even gone out every single day. And I went to the market on Tuesday and I ran into somebody that I know, and I was wearing a mask, by the way. I got this like mask. And so was she, and then I just had like this weird like interaction with her that I couldn't stop thinking about the entire day. I was like, why is it that like my only 5 minutes out, like I had this thing that I can't stop thinking about? It's so annoying. I'm like, so what am I learning from this? Like, what's the point of this? Why am I going through all these things in my head? Why am I like replaying this and stuff? And so I had to really think about it and go through some negative feelings about it. And I was like, all right, I was aware of what I was thinking and feeling, and just kept going back to, okay, well, I'm just observing my own feelings of it and kind of just like observing it. So even hearing my thoughts, but not trying to stop them really, because they're just going to keep coming, but just observing them. A
similar thing, like I was telling you about that shadow work stuff that I was doing, where I feel like I've actually been trying to like I've cried a lot more the last week than I normally do, just because like I think I feel a lot of collective energy and a lot of collective like frustration and sadness, as everybody I think does. And I've been trying to really like let that go, like when the emotion hits, instead of repressing it or trying to change it, trying to work, just like get it over with quicker, like go through it, allow myself to feel it in a non-judgmental way, and then comfort myself once like I've gotten the pinnacle of the emotion out.
Right. I think that's a good way to process it, because otherwise you're just like suppressing it.
Yeah, because normally I'll be like I'll have a narrative in my head where it's like what are you crying? You don't need to cry. There's nothing to cry about right now. Like what like it's just gonna be fine. Like whatever. You're over like rationalizing to myself why I don't need to be feeling the way I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like,
of yourself, kind of.
Okay, yeah, you feel this way, cry, do it, just do whatever.
Right. Yeah, right. That's good. Yeah, it's like the classic parent of telling a kid not to cry, and then it's just like, well, why not?
And
just let
I've always
cry.
been like a very private crier. I'm not like yeah. I mean, it has to be like an extreme circumstance that I will cry around my friends or my family or people. I mean, like most of the time I'm like I cry, like I'm human, I cry, but it's usually with myself.
Yeah. No, that's the same here. That's the same. Yeah, totally. It's weird because we don't cry with other people that often. I mean, except for when big things happen, but sometimes you just want to cry. It's true.
Yeah, and it's weird, and like I'm trying to understand that about the humanness, about me or about anybody. Just like why is that? Like that's weird.
That we don't cry around other people,
or not even that we don't cry around each other, but and even if someone is crying, you're like, whoa, what's wrong? Like, are you okay? Like, what happened? Like, no, you don't feel that way. You don't need to feel that way.
You try to change it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you try to make them laugh or be happy or something.
Oh, I don't want you to be sad. I don't want you to be in this. Yeah. Like, let me give, Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that? There's a little video of the empathy and the sympathy. I think it was empathy and sympathy. I don't remember, but it was like a bear, a depressed bear, and like an animation thing. It's a video that I've seen a lot, like on Facebook. But anyway, it's like, what's the difference? And then, the bear is like in the hole, and the other one's like, hey, why are you in the hole? Come on, you don't need to be in the hole. Get out of the hole. Get out of the hole. And he's like, I can't get out. He's like, well, come on, I can help you get out of the hole. I'll help you get out of the hole. We'll find a way to get out of the hole. And then like in the end, she finally realizes, think it's a bunny or whatever. But anyway, bunny goes down and like just hangs out with the bear. And then like, you know, the whole thing was just like, you know, like the empathy is just being with the bear in the hole instead of trying to get the bear out of the hole when it's not ready to get out of the hole. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it's feeling the emotions, man.
Yeah.
And I think emotions are a big underlining tool that we don't understand how to use yet. You know, like I feel like for manifestation and stuff like that, I feel like if we can learn how to work with our emotions, then we might be able to get better stuff done than we do.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right. And also giving this space and the time to the emotion and just letting it be okay that I'm feeling angry. Okay. Yeah. That I'm feeling more, whatever it is. Yeah. I'm feeling scared. Okay. It's okay to feel scared. It's okay to feel that way. Just acknowledge it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a complete natural human emotion. And then at some point, all right, well, are you ready? Are you still want to hold on to it? Okay. Well, then keep holding on to it. Are you ready to let it go yet? And like check in with yourself, you know, and just be like, okay, right now, all right, I think I might be ready to let it go now.
Yeah, that's perfect. I love that.